Welcome to all. Today we all learn about data mining and machine learning through decision tree. Decision tree is a classified the form of the tree structure. There are some descriptions of decision tree, like decision tree under the decision node, leaf node, arc and edge, path. Decision tree means it's a tree-like model of decision. It split the data into subset on the value of input futures. Then decision node, it's a subset of the our decision tree. It's a single attribute. It's a branch that follow based on the outcome of the test. Then it's a leaf node and also it's called a terminal node. It's contain the final decision or classification. Then arc and edge, it's a split of the one attribute. It connect node to the decision tree. Then path, it's a sequence of decision from the root to node a particular leaf node. Then it's a decision tree classification. There are two type of the decision tree classification. One is a tree construction, then another one is a tree pruning. Tree construction, it's a involved to building the decision tree, by recoverly portioning the training of some selected attribute. Example, information gain and gain impurity, split the data of subset. Then is a tree pruning. It's once the decision tree is constructed, pruning is performed to the tree structure. Main goal of the pruning is identify and some remove branches, like noise, outlier or overlay of specific patterns. Uses of decision tree is attribute value of sample against the classification of attribute values, some sample tested to decision tree, traversing tree from the root of the leaf node. Then is a decision tree terminology. It's like some branches of tree. Then it's called leaf node, like branches of the node. There are the some associated to the decision tree in decision tree terminology. It's called root node, internal node, then it's a leaf node. It's called also terminal node. Then splitting, then decision rule, like it's also comes under the decision tree terminology. It here's body temperature, it's a root node. And then it's a gives birth and the non-mammals, it's called an internal node. Then it's a mammals, non-mammals, it also comes under the leaf node. There are three nodes: root node, internal node, leaf node. It comes under the decision tree terminology. Then is a decision tree representation. It's also like something like a decision tree terminology. Internal node, branch node and leaf node. First is a internal node. It's a test of the attribute. Internal node means some tests of the attribute representing the decision based on the future. Then it's a branch. Branch means it's also called the internal node or internal node of the attribute value. Then it's a leaf node. It's also called terminal node. It's a node tree that do not have any child node. These nodes represent the final outcome and prediction. Then some examples of decision tree. It's that's just like a tabular column. Refund is ஒரு categorical form. Categorical marital status is a categorical form. Continuous and class. It's also like a binary data like yes or no, single. Here refund, it's a leaf, it's a root node. Then it's come under no, it's a marital status. It's all comes under the branches node. And no and yes, it's also leaf node. It's something like a training data. Here splitting the attribute like refund, marital status, then tax sync. It's also splitting attribute of the examples of decision tree. Another example of decision tree, data are something like the tree before of the example. Here marital status, refund, tax sync, it's also the branches of leaf node of the or root node of the tree. Illustrating the classification task. What comes under the classification task, like learning algorithm, then learn model, then it's a model, then apply model, then deduction. Like first we all are train the data, comes learn model, which algorithm may be used. Here we use the decision tree algorithm. Then models are training, then these models are applied to deduct to the testing, like training data, learn model, then model it means a decision tree, then model go to apply model, it's a deduction, then we go to testing. Apply model to test data, like refund, marital status, tax sync. It's a apply model to test data to deduct to the testing data. Here also refund, it's a no, it's a testing data. Then marital status, it's also some testing data. Then married, then assign cheat to no, it's a no means it's a leaf, comes under the leaf node. Decision tree classification task, again training data, then the tree induction algorithm, then it's a learn model, then model it comes under to decision tree, then deduction. Decision tree induction, it's comes under the lot of many algorithms uses here, like Hunt's algorithm is one of the earliest tree algorithm. Then COT means classification and decision tree, then ID3, then C4 5, then SLIQ, and then sprint. Here over something Hunt's algorithm, it means one of the earliest decision tree algorithm. It's developed by J. Ross Wallen in 1963. It's the basic and later decision tree algorithm like ID3 and C45. Then it's a COT. COT means classification and regression trees. COT is a decision tree algorithm. It introduced by Bremen. It's a both a classification. COT it's a process. It both the process doing classification and regression tasks. COT construct the binary tree. Then ID3 means iterative dichotomizer. It's a decision tree algorithm developed by Ross Wallen, which is specially designed for classification task. Then C45, it's developed improvement. C45 is the improvement over the ID3. It's developed by Ross Wallen also. It's something before Ross Wallen. ID3 also developed by Ross Wallen. Same C45 also developed by Ross Wallen. It handles both categorical and continual attributes. Then SLIQ is a supervised learning in quest. It's a decision tree algorithm handling large data sets. Then sprint means scalable, parallel, randomized induction decision tree is another decision tree algorithm optimized by large data set and parallel processing. Then it's the overview of decision tree algorithm. Decision tree induction, hence hot, ID3, C45, slick and sprint. Here top down decision tree induction. Top down decision tree induction. It's a main loop. A is the best decision attribute of the next node. Select the best attribute means determine based on the how to we collect the information, some ratio, gain impunity, entropy reduction. It's all comes under select the best attribute. Then assign as a decision to attribute for node. It comes under to how to select the best attribute. Then each possible value of the decision attribute of two nodes are created. Then for each value of A means it's a created new descendant of the node. Then short training examples of leaf node. Training examples are sorted into the corresponding descendant node, some based on the decision attribute. Then if training examples are perfectly classified, then stop and over to the leaf node. It's a perfect to classification and achieve to all leaf nodes. Okay. How to split records? There are some format. Then the tree can crow huge. These trees are hard to understand. Large trees are typically accurate than smaller trees. It's all principle to how to handle to split the data. There are some points. 3 ways to split the data. The tree can huge. These trees are hard to understand. Largest trees are typically less accurate than smaller tree. Principled criterion of attribute selection. It comes under what process are going like information gain, entropy. Information gain, it attribute to separate the training, example to target the classification. It effective to attribute of some target variable. Entropy means it's a randomness of impurity on the set of data. It's also like information gain. Information gain in decision tree induction. Information, how to gain the information in decision. Some assume the attribute A, current set will be portioned into some number of child sets. Then some branch would be gained the branching of A. Gain A, E current set minus summation E all side sets. This is a way to information gain in decision tree induction. Some example of computing entropy. Here is an equation of entropy. T equal to minus summation of under j b of j by t log to p of j by t. Here some values are C1, C2 and C1, C2. These 4 set of values. 6 is a high priority of value. Then p of 6 1 0 minus 6 equal to 0. P of 6 minus P of 6 2 0 6 by 0 equal to 1. Then here we go to apply the entropy formula, comes under to value is a 0. This before now we are checking to the first process. All 3 processes are the same like first process. How to calculate log S2? Many calculator to only have a button of log 10x and log ex. Note log typically means You can calculate the log of any base as follows. Some log of bx, log of kx. Here the calculate, how to calculate, it's the way to calculate the decision tree induction. Splitting based. Here information gain formula means entropy P summation of n of the entropy. Present parent node equal is split into k portion, number of record into portion. It is the measure reduction. It's a entropy to achieve the data splitting. Then used ID3 and CO4. Disadvantage, it's to prefer to split the result in large number of data, each being too small, but it very gain that value. Here is the some set of data like some set of person's name, then their attributes, hair length, weight, age, class. Here's the some set of person's data attributes. Here the decision trees process. Here's the main branches of the some persons. Here yes or no. Hair length is a how to hair length is a yes, or hair length no means is a leaf node of the decision tree induction. Here we use entropy form. Here we use entropy formula. It's also like using entropy formula and used to their yes or no to how to calculate the their hair weight, and here we use weight, age and class. Some gain weight process also going. These process are going to split the age. How age to split the data, then calculate the entropy process, then gain process. Here the process are to split the data in weight process, then weight, hair length, male or female. How would be the process of the classified? Here this is decision tree process are going, and then go to classify the result. Here rule to classify the males or females to if weight greater than 160 classify as a male, else if hair length less than or equal to classify as a male. Measure to impurity of the Gin at node. Here we used to Gini of equation. Measure of impurity Gini at node. Here Gini form, it's a Gini of T 1 minus summation of J B of J by T square. Example, two classes C1 and C2, and a node T has a 5 C1 and 5 C2. Here is the process. There were two classes C1 and C2, and node T has a 5 C1, 5 C2. Compute Gini. We going to process of the and calculate the Gini index. Here 1 minus equal 1 minus P of C1 by T plus P of C2 by T. C1 is calculated 5, and by T to T process is 10 by whole power 2 plus 5 divided by 2 equal to it's not equal, it's a value of 1 minus divided value 1 by 4 plus 1 by 4 equal to 1 by 2. Now we calculate the Gini process. It's their key is 1 by 2. Gini value indicate the good split or bad split. Is it an external value? More on Gini. Gini respond to probability, where NC is the number of classes. It's the Gini correspondent to probability is a worst process. For class problems, Gini will be 1 by 2. How will do we best Gini come up with the example for node 10 example for classes C1 and C2. Here now we choose to 10 of C1 and 10 of C2. Now what's the Gini? Now what process are going? The equation is also same. Here Gini computation probability is now class problems are problems. Gini varies from 0 and 1/2 worst. Entropy formula here use S minus B 1 log of 2 B of 1 B of 0 log of 2 P of 0. P1 is a fraction of positive example and S and P of 0 fraction of negative. Examples of one category of 0. Then examples of B equal to mixed like P1 equal to B0 0 of 5. Here the multi-class problem with the C category. Entropy generalizes to entropy S summation of C of I equal to 1 like P of log 2 to P of 1. How to find the best split in Gini? Here there are two processors going A and B, node 1 and 2, node 3 and 4, C of 0 N 1 0, then C of 1 N 1 of 1. Here N of 2 0, then N of 2 1. N1 process is here C of 0 before splitting. N of 0 0 0 C1 N of 0 1. Here process are going node it's a S equal to N1. Here N1 process are going to S prediction, N2 process are going to before splitting Z0 it means N of 0 0. C1 it's N of 0 comma 1. N of 0 comma 1. There are two processes are going. It's A and B. A it's a node N1 and N2. B node N3 and N4. C of 0 node N1 process means N of 1 0 and N of 1 1. Node N2 means N of 2 0 and N of 2 1. It's like node N3 means N of 3 0 and N of 3 1. Node N4 means N of 4 0 and N of 4 1. Like before splitting, it's NO means M1, M2, M3, M4. Here splitting M of 0. Node N of 1 means M of 1, N2 means M of 2, N3 means M of 3, M4 node N4 means M of 4. Here these processes are connect to M of 1 comma 2. These processes are connect to M of 3 comma 4. Here we M of 0 and minus M of 1 2 versus M of 0 and M of 3 4. Some more examples like before we see the Gini values of 4 node with different distribution. They are the order to best to what to next slide for the details. Here the brass are going 0.0, here the 0.2.78, here the 0.4.4, here the 5.0 comma 0. Thus these processes are connect like before we calculate like some sample or example of process. Here this process are going to Gini process. Here entropy process are going. Now Gini process are going same like C1 and C2, C1 C2, C1 C2. Most high priority values are 6. Then P of C1 0/6 equal to 0. C 6/6 equal to 1. Like this the value to calculate the Gini process. Splitting criteria based classification area. Error it's a formula to T equal to 1 minus max P of 1T. Measure classification error by node means maximum 1/1 in when records are equally distributed among to all classes, like minimum 0, 0 when records belongs to one classes to another classes, implying the most interesting information. Again, examples of computing error process. Error process formula T of 1 minus max B of IT. Discussion. Error rate often the metric used to evaluate the classifier. Error rate, it's a way used to metric process then to evaluation of the classifier process, but not always. It's reasonable to use error to rate the determined to best split. But this is the wrong. There are process are going to some wrong in decision tree process, like global to better result to splitting the matrix lead. Some other matrix will be empirically to outform of the error data. Some advantage and disadvantage of decision tree. Advantage, easy to understand. Most of the doctors are allowed to use the process, easy to generate the rule. Some disadvantages are here. Many suffer, overfittings or suffer to the process. Then rectangular partiality to classify, it does not handle to correct the future value. Pruning is a necessary, but it can be quite it's a large processes, does not have handle to streaming the some data analysis process. Thank you. I hope you all are to enjoy our video, and the process of decision tree, it's you must understand the process and what kind of formulas and equations process are going. You must understand the problem.